Okay, so I wanted to show you, or the last thing I wanted to show you was the import feature. And okay, so I just want to show you a couple of final things here in TinkerCAD. One thing that is quite useful is the import feature. Now this will let you import a shape, and this could be something like a company logo, maybe something like that. We're going to use, and it has to be an SVG file again, ideally. You can bring in, it tells you here, so these OBJ and STL, which is like a 3D print file, but SVG is like the image type file you can bring in. So as before, we're going to use our aeroplane. I'm going to go with the side view. Now it's saying it's too big, but we know our print area is 250, so I'm going to bring that in at 240. Okay. Let me edit this again. 250. Now, this was a SVG file, so it is just an image. And I've brought that in, and it's automatically converted it to a solid. Now, one thing I do need to say, when you're working with these images, sometimes you do need to tidy them up in an image editing software. So this actually, let me open it. So that's all this is. It's just an image, and I've made this. I got this image of an aeroplane, and in Photoshop I did some. I made it into this dark area. It needs to be like a closed solid, if that makes sense. Just a very basic shadow. It works best. Okay, and then that will come in, and now you can change it. You don't get any options up here really. Other than make it a whole or a solid, but you can change, so you could maybe make that 5mm thick. Okay, now here as usual you get these grips that will let you, these sliders, so they can let you change it, but you do need, if you want to keep it to the same kind of ratios as in length and width, you don't want to just click this and start dragging it, because you might make it too long and thin or it's squashed up like that. Okay, so what you can do, and this is the same in lots of imaging software, if you hold down shift and select the corner, then it will only let you kind of scale it while keeping it the same ratio for width and height. Okay, so that's good. So hold down shift to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bit of a key ring here, so I'd probably want that no bigger than 70mm. That'll do. There. Like that. And then maybe we just want to put a 1mm hole. In the nose, like that. 1mm, probably, let's go with 5mm. Okay. 5mm, a bit much. We'll try 3. Like that. Okay. So if we group those, now we have this aeroplane, so we could print that and that will be a nice keyring there. Okay. Again, if we wanted to put some kind of text on the top of that. Now, what we've done so far, and this is something I just wanted to show you, we've brought in everything onto this flatbed, this blue grid. And what we've tended to do, if I want to put text on top of that, is, I know that's 5mm. Actually, is make that say 2.5 thick. So then we would move that 2.2, and it would 2.5 would sit on top. If we moved it up 2, it'd have a bit of an overlap. But what we can do is we can change. So this blue plane, if you're doing a complicated model, it's a lot of work to keep moving things and working out where you want to move it after you brought them in. So what you can do is redo this grid. So we can go to work plane, and if we click on top of this object, you can see it looks like the object's gone below the work plane. What's actually happened is our work plane is now sitting on top. So as soon as we bring anything in, it will automatically just sit on top of that. Okay, and again, you can hold down Shift to scale this right down. Maybe you want to make, so this plane I know is called an RV7, so maybe you want to put that text on like that. Okay, it's probably a bit much. As I said before, I do like a bit of an overlap, so you can always drag that down there. And you know what I'm going to do? Make that hole. I'm going to drag it down again. And then I'm going to group them. There. RV7. So it's not going all the way through. I didn't want it to. It's just got a bit of text on it. So you can do that. And that'll print now as a keyring. Simple as that. A simple way to make a keyring or from an image, or how to bring in an image. Okay. And this work plane, putting the work plane on is a good idea. It does make life easier when you want to put objects together in a certain way. Okay. Now, if you watch, you could put a work plane. It doesn't have to be horizontal. You could put a work plane like that, and then when you bring a box in, it will sit there. Okay, so as you can imagine, with a complicated assembly, you could use these work planes all the time. Okay, and if you select work plane, just you see that you've got this blue, and if you want to go back to the default work plane, you can probably see it's still there. It's just very faint. So you can select work plane and click on that, and it will go back to your default work plane. Okay. Now, when you do move on, or when you do move on to more complex software such as Fusion or Inventor, these work planes you will use all the time. They're a big part of it, so it's quite good to get used to using these. Another thing we have is a ruler. So you might want, when we've been modelling, we've been setting things out with reference to each other, but you might want to set things out with reference to a base point. Maybe you've got a sketch, someone's measured everything off the same point, then you can just put that. Okay, that's my 0, 0 point. Okay, and now whenever I move anything, you can see it, as well as the dimensions of itself, it also gives you dimensions off this point, so you can orientate things around, and that can come in useful. That's one of those things, some people use it, some people don't. It's all, so a lot of it is down to the way you'll generally find a preferred way of working and you'll stick to it.